Hi, welcome back to video 5 of my 7 key attributes of top online marketers. So we've covered so far point 1, which is commitment, point 2, focus, point 3, coaching and mentoring, and now point 4, prioritizing activities with income generation first. So what does that mean? Well, we've talked about being clear and being focused on what steps they need to take and all the actions they need to take to get them to their end point before they move their goalpost. So you're constantly taking action. You've got a plan of what action needs to be taken and prioritizing activities with income generation first. Any successful business owner knows that they need to start the day with the highest leverage activities first. They realise that they need to do all the income generating activities first because that starts the day with good productivity and they're constantly bringing new revenue into the business. Now, you might be questioning, what is an income generating activity? Well, faffing around with your website and trying to get the positioning and the tweaking it and making it look pretty, that's not generating you any income. Writing good content, lead magnets and putting lots of value out there, so writing good powerful content, now that's an income generating activity. Creating and running a webinar, that's income generating activity. Webinars are great because you can do this one piece of content, you can record it and then you can post it on somewhere like YouTube, and years later that piece of content can still be earning you sales. So for example, one of the people at the weekend, I think they've just taken home £100,000 in their business to date over the last couple of years, and they said that they did a sales video probably about a year and a half ago, and that sales video was probably an hour's max work with placing ads to get people into the event, setting up the webinar, setting up the slides, running the webinar, recording it and then uploading it, and even now they're getting sales, and they're not actually they had to do that work once and it's generating sales every single day. It's still generating sales. So that's leveraging your time, and it's also a high value activity as well. Emailing your list, that's a high leverage activity because you need to be building rapport and connection with your potential buyers, and bringing them through the buyer's journey until they're ready to buy whatever product it is that you have that they need, because it's something that's going to fix one of their pain points. Constantly adding valuable information, so valuable content on your blog, videos, text messages, and social media updates, connecting with people on social media, potential clients on social media. Those are all high leverage activities, and I know that one of the guys said that he always starts before he does anything, he gets out of bed and he the first thing he does, he goes to his computer and he switches it on, and he doesn't check his emails, he doesn't go to social media, he does not look at any of those fluffy animal videos. He's just emailing his list, he's writing content and he's uploading it. That's how he starts his day. And the mindset of everyone is, if you start your day productive, you'll end your day productive, and you'll get a whole load more done during the day than if you procrastinate in the morning or have a lazy morning or do a low value activity to start the day. They're also very aware that they are managers of the business, they're not in the business. And that's a huge distinction for most entrepreneurs out there. Say that they are an entrepreneur and they have a business. However, what they've done is they've created a job for themselves. So there's a couple of examples that I can give. So, for example, I heard that there's a company in Australia, and it's a franchise of lawn mowing franchise. So the guy that owns it, he runs a business because he franchises his business system. So basically, he's in the business of franchising his lawnmower business, whereas somebody else might buy a franchise and say they're in business, but actually they're doing the mowing of the lawns. So are they running a business, or have they just created a job for themselves? Truth is, they've just created a job for themselves. Really, what you want to be doing is you want to be creating a system. So if you had to step away from your business temporarily, your business wouldn't collapse. And if you can't say that if you stepped away from your business wouldn't still be ticking over sales, you've created a job for yourself. You've not actually created a business. Might be painful to hear this, but this is something that you should be mindful of in the long term, because if you've got a long-term goal that you want to achieve, or say retirement plan, etc., or something happens in your life which means you have to be taken away from your business, it will all, if it's going to collapse, if you're not physically there manning the helm, then you need to really rethink your business model, and you need to look at being in business rather than doing the business. So another really good example is Ray Crocker with McDonald's. So Ray Crocker used to be he used to sell milkshake making machines, and he had an order for 4 of these machines by the McDonald's brothers. And he was curious as to why they'd ordered 4, because normally an order would be for 1, very rarely 2, let alone 4. So he was so curious to see what was going on that he actually got onto a plane and he went to physically visit them to see what was going on with their business. And when he saw what was going on, he thought to himself that if he got into the business of managing that kind of business and franchising it, replicating it, and selling the business system to several locations over America, then he would be a wealthy man. And that's effectively what he did. How many people haven't driven past a city that doesn't have a McDonald's in it? Whether you like them or not, it's a very successful business model. It's got a proven system, and they've even got their own McDonald's Hamburger University. So they've got all these systems in place. So if you buy a franchise and you stick to their business system and you follow their recipe for success, you will get success. But the person that is most successful is the person that's overseeing that and managing the whole business rather than working in the business. So selling the franchises rather than selling the burgers. It's a huge difference. Which takes me to the next thing. So successful entrepreneurs, they'll be aware of their high leverage activities. They'll be aware of managing the business and not doing the business. But they're also very protective of their time, knowing that time has huge amounts of value. So they will always be protecting their time. And if it's poor leverage of their time, they won't do the activity. I had a really good example from somebody that said that he'd reached a certain point in his business and he was at home, and one of his family members asked him to do the housework, and he turned around and said no, because my time is worth more than that. Probably didn't go down too well with the family. However, when you think about it, he's a multi-millionaire, so how much is an hour of his time worth? And he realised that it's not a good leverage of his time, so therefore he got a cleaner to do it for him, so he can focus on the money generating activities. So it's simple things like most people, when they're first starting their business, think that they have to do everything in their business, and this is a costly mistake, because your time does cost you in the long term. If you're going to be successful in business long term, you need to think like a successful entrepreneur from the outstart. And they realise that they outsource things that they can't do, or is poor leverage of their time. So for example, if you don't know how to use Photoshop to edit or create your logo, you're not a graphic designer, then the best way is to go onto an outsourcing site and outsource it to somebody that can do it and can give it back to you in 24 hours. because I guarantee you, when you look at the amount of time you spend trying to learn how to do the graphic design to then do it, you're not going to be able to do it in the shorter time that somebody that is qualified to do it in can deliver. And the same with not spending money on having a website design because you want to do it yourself to save you money. You might save money, but actually how much time are you expending trying to save yourself that money? And if you equate that with what your hourly rate is worth, suddenly you realize that actually you've probably spent, I don't know, 10, 20 times the amount of money just in time. So it's really important to run your business like a successful business from the outstart, and having that mindset of outsourcing stuff to begin with. It doesn't mean you should outsource big jobs to start with, just outsource small jobs, and then, take one step at a time, and then you build up the comfort and the knowledge on how to outsource and how to outsource successfully, and how to manage those jobs as well. So that takes me to the end of video 5, and I'll be back shortly with video 6.